I was going to do it too.
Who was going 90? Who was going 10?
I was going 100.
Let's go with -10. All right.
Let me just type in words of scissor. Go ahead, thing. Go ahead.
All right. Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. What episode is this? Dang it.
184.
184.
I don't know if you guys can see. Well, you can see it, but I don't know if you guys have noticed where it says the episode.
Sex.
Sex.
And
Sex.
It's
we got a
Segs.
S-E-S-X.
Segs.
Pronounce that.
Segs.
Show reel.
Show reel.
That's what it's
Show
called.
reel.
A show reel is a short video
So
showcasing a person's previous work used by an involved. Oh,
That's
wait.
That's not right.
That's not what we
Whatever
want.
it's called, we're doing the episode, and you saw it before the.
Oh, it is a sizzle
There's a
reel.
moth right here.
It says a sizzle reel is a short video clip that uses video marketing to highlight important information to your audience.
But we're not highlighting important information. Whatever. If you know what it is, what we do.
You want to grab your viewers' attention through a great sizzle reel and video editing that will keep their attention on your video. Sizzle
That's
reel.
not really what we do.
It sounds
though.
so funny.
Okay, but
It just sounds like a silly word.
a sizzle reel is like they show like 3 or 4 clips of what's to come. You
Yeah.
are correct. What
Yeah,
we do,
kind of like what they do in a vlog or something, where it's
Right,
like,
right.
oh my God, he died.
right. Ours
like-
is ours is kind of a sizzle reel.
Yeah.
You just play
it's more
like
It's more like a.
Coming up
Coming
on
up
Dragon
clip.
Ball Z.
last time.
Tonight on the Tonight Show, Jay Leno dies.
This black cherry's intense. See, I think I like this better than that because this has a way more carbonation. That feels like a very soft drink.
Yeah, I like soft drinks. I don't like
Yeah.
I don't like carbonation that much.
Some people just don't like it when it feels like their mouth is getting like assaulted by bubbles.
This literally is like you're drinking a soda.
You know what? Maybe I'll try
I feel
some.
like this is more akin to a soda because I like the burn. That's why.
No.
That's why I drink
Okay, I'll-
pop because I like
way
the
too much
burn.
carbonation.
You spill all over yourself and the table.
Yeah, that's a lot of carbonation. I don't like that.
Use your shirt. Thank you.
Anyways,
Yeah, too much carbonation.
I don't like. Yeah, I don't like sparkling water. If you guys didn't see in the previous podcast,
This
when Zay-
Technically, this is called sparkling
Yeah.
water.
but that one has a lot more flavor in it.
See,
Like,
that's,
to
that's
And there's
less,
less
less
carbonation.
carbonation.
Yeah, less carbonation. That's why I like. That's like blasted
Well,
with carbonation.
Do you guys like
blasted
flat
with bubbles.
soda?
I don't like flat. I wouldn't say I like.
I wouldn't.
Flat.
I wouldn't say this is a flat soda though.
I just like.
I would say this is
I
about
just think
right.
that sodas with carbonation have a lot more flavor than that.
I guess to answer your question, I don't necessarily mind them, but I don't like them.
See
I'd rather
that right
have a
there?
not flat soda.
That tastes like liquid salt to me. It just tastes like.
I don't think it has any taste.
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
You guys can't take the black cherry. Taste the black cherry.
Oh, I can taste the
Not-
black cherry. It's
not
not
the
the
black
part that's
cherry,
the
it's just
problem.
the-
No, it's just too much carbonation.
Way too much
it's yeah,
carbonation.
it's just too much carbonation. But
That's
I think
fair.
I need a bit farther from my mic. By the way, I realized I was like peaking. Oh shoot, wrong
Yeah, the
show.
first-
Whoops.
yeah.
Oh no.
Well, if
Ow,
you
my
saw on the
tooth.
related channels, then. Anyways, that one moment where Zay brought in liquid death, and I realized, oh God, I don't like this.
See, in that one, I actually don't. Oh, excuse me. That
Thanks,
one is
Windows
just
Defender.
straight carbonated water. There's no flavoring to that.
Yeah.
Although they do have ones that are flavored now.
I could barely taste the black cherry. It's like the carbonation's way overwhelming in that. But anyways, let's talk about the meat of the show, and that is the Microsoft leaks.
This is the meat.
I guess.
Was it their headquarters? Did they have like a loose pipe?
When do we get to the
Yeah.
potatoes?
Well, meat and
I'm a fan of potatoes.
Well, meat and potatoes is that so you know the FTC hearings, right? Where they're like, FTC's like, hey, you can't buy all these companies. That's a
Yeah.
monopoly. And Microsoft's like, no, it's not. So they send them.
They're like, bet,
'em-
prove it.
They took them to
Bet.
court for it. And so during their hearing, apparently, I think this isn't one. I don't think this is 100% accurate, but I think someone in the FTC leaked a bunch of emails, probably on accident. I don't know if that's it, but that's what it kind of sounds like because they were using the emails for the court hearings.
I got a question real quick.
And I'm thinking that's the only people who would leak it because they're using it as evidence.
How does stuff get leaked?
Someone on the inside.
Accidentally.
That someone was just negligent with something like recently they had that Persona 3 remake. Someone said, hey, put this trailer up on this date. And I think they got the wrong date. Uploaded it.
I'll show you, Sky.
Uploaded it on that date. And they said, no. That's the wrong date. And then they had to take it. Like, that's probably one thing. Like, someone misinformation or... Oh, my God. What is this? Oh, geez. What did you... Oh, he said in his little group chat, Thane is lame. Whoops. That was, yeah,
This
like
is
that.
the group.
Just
I
like
sent
that.
it to you, too. I
Just
sent
like
it to
that.
both of you guys.
Someone sent something in the wrong folder or at the wrong time. That's what probably happened with the Persona 3 leaks.
Boom. Leak.
Someone said, put up this date. No, like, that's the wrong date. And that's what happens.
Lack of communication, man.
Yeah.
I guess that's all that is.
Or
But-
over communication. Like in this little thing in this lame take.
But the FTC might have also accidentally leaked this. Or they did it as spite. I don't know.
So I'm assuming that the fact that Microsoft was trying to acquire other studios wasn't supposed to come to light.
No, well, no, they've been openly doing it. Oh, the studios mentioned in the emails, yeah, that wasn't supposed to come to light. I mean, like them acquiring studios is like open, like they've been
Right, I
doing
knew
it.
that, but I'm
Yeah.
saying those like
Yeah.
what were the ones you said? Square Enix.
No, well, here's the thing. So a few that said there were Square Enix, which is kind of weird because
These are studios that
Yeah.
Xbox was trying to acquire.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Square Enix is kind of like
Allegedly.
allegedly. Well, in like they were talking.
They
about
were
it. It's
talking
like
about wanting to maybe
yeah,
do it.
Yeah, Square Enix has been more of a PlayStation, and I think they would have probably rejected that because Sony probably would have pushed back from that. But anyways, Sega, which actually makes sense because they've done a lot of deals in the past with Sega, especially
like Minecraft. You can play Sonic in Minecraft.
yeah,
And Roblox.
especially after Dreamcast, they had several Xbox exclusive games on there.
They put Windows on the Dreamcast.
Yeah, they put Windows on the Dream. I
So
don't know.
It's a legit thing.
Oh,
That's
I
the-
believe. No, yeah.
The OS is Windows.
Oh,
That's
wow,
crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny if Sega was still around making consoles and they partnered with Microsoft, we could have been seeing Master Chief on the Sega Dream Spectacle or something.
The one that still blows my mind is the Nintendo Sony collab that almost happened, but
Yeah.
then didn't.
The
Yeah.
Nintendo PlayStation.
Yeah, the Nintendo PlayStation, which the prototype is out there somewhere in the wild.
How different do you think the gaming?
Not in the wild. It's like in a museum now.
Some probably.
How
someone
different
buy
do you
it from
guys think the
somebody about
gaming
it.
ecosystem would be if that were to have happened?
That'd be interesting. I think if
That would be
Sony-
the monopoly,
Yeah.
right?
If Sony did partner with Nintendo,
So it's hard because
Yeah.
like Sega was dying, and then Xbox is trying to get into the
Yeah.
mix at that same time, roughly. Granted, Xbox a little bit later,
yeah,
and Sega died a little bit later,
Yeah.
but like,
So this was before the PlayStation 1 had come out then.
and before the
Yeah.
Super Nintendo. No, just after the Super
Yeah.
Nintendo. I
Right,
believe
so what
just
I'm
after.
saying
that's
is like,
why the
I think it would have changed everything completely
Yeah.
because the PS1
Yeah.
had not even
Oh yeah,
come
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I just
I
don't
see
know
what
if it would
you
have been a
mean.
monopoly.
so
Well, what were the other competitors?
Well, Sega
had
Sega
the
was still
Saturn.
there, and Atari was
Yeah.
technically still there at the time, and we know that Microsoft was getting into the game a little bit later,
Yeah,
and so like there were still like competitors, and we don't know what
Yeah.
this would have made because we
Right.
wouldn't have ever had the PlayStation
Right,
1.
right.
So like, it's almost like a world without a PlayStation 1. If
Yeah.
anything, it's just what Nintendo
Yeah.
gets better hardware. We probably
So-
wouldn't got. We probably would have never gotten the Switch,
yeah.
for example.
So,
They never probably would have been like
Yeah.
risk taking with their different
Hardware.
consoles and hardwares. Like we probably wouldn't have gotten a Wii U. The
Yeah.
GameCube wouldn't have had a handle, which is a damn shame if that
The-
happened.
The disc drive, the N64 disc
I want to
drive
take it everywhere.
was the thing they one that they ended up making because I guess Sony, after the meeting with Sony and after the falling out, it's like, well, we got to make something. And they made the N64 disc drive, which was a colossal failure.
It only released in Japan.
Yeah, and only like a handful of games, and then never again.
With that, they probably should have
Yeah.
just released it as its own console, right?
Yeah, true. But that was pretty early in the N64's lifespan, so it was made. So they thought, oh, just an expansion would work. That's why they wanted partner with Sony, because they probably were trying to do expansion to really get the market on Sega. Like, oh, hey, look, we got this big boy right here.
The Nintendo PlayStation, though, that was before the N64 launched.
Oh, it was? Oh, just a bit before?
It was basically, I mean, it looked like a Super Nintendo, kind of. It didn't, but it did. Like, the
Yeah.
controller was just a Super Nintendo controller with the
Yeah.
Sony logo on it. Yeah, look it up. Type in Nintendo PlayStation. I think it's a Super
Of course,
Nintendo
no.
controller with a PlayStation logo.
Now, this is a prototype, so this
Or
is
so.
not the final, obviously not the final product.
Yeah,
that
there
would
wasn't a
happen.
final.
Yeah.
See, that's it right there. It's a Super Nintendo with a disc drive.
It probably would
See,
have
it
looked...
says Sony PlayStation
yeah.
on the controller.
It would have looked probably more like something up like to what the Nintendo 64 probably would have been.
Where's the
But-
Nintendo logo? Or did this never even come to light?
This is what we had.
Yeah.
So they didn't have
This is what we found.
They didn't even have a Nintendo logo on there.
no,
I guess
no
right
Nintendo
there.
logo. That's the different
a
controller.
Famicom.
That's a
That's the
Famicom
NES.
controller.
Yeah.
Famicom.
I have to put. Well, I would have to put. I'm not gonna put this on screen. You guys can just look it up. Anyways,
Is he like it plays Super Nintendo games?
That's wild.
back on track. Let's get back on track. So in those emails, Phil Spencer, the big boy, he said, "Oh, we're trying to buy Square. We're trying to buy Sega." There's a few others. I think Warner Brothers was one of them. Warner Brothers Games, which would have been weird because Warner Brothers is a big movie company. So buying their games division would kind of be weird. But
A lot of licensed ones. That'd
Yeah.
be crazy.
yeah, but one of the biggest ones and probably one of the most boldest ones would have been Nintendo. They wanted to try to buy Nintendo. This is back in 2020, I think, the emails that they leaked. So I'm thinking, like, if you do look it up, Microsoft technically has more money than Nintendo, so they could buy them.
No, that's not really how it works.
Yeah,
though.
I know, but like
most
Nintendo-
companies have more money than Nintendo
Yeah.
does.
yeah, but Nintendo can refuse buyouts. Like Microsoft
Yeah.
could make an offer, and then Nintendo's like, no,
You
So
can say, I'm not for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one,
yeah,
the FTC would step in and say, "No way, Jose."
Yeah,
like
uh-huh.
that. They're monopolizing. That's one of the big three you're taking out right there. You're eating one of the
Even
big
then,
three.
I don't know.
You think?
Monopolies
It's-
only are one. There would have been two left.
That's crazy.
So also back in the day when Microsoft pinched Rare from them, they also were trying to pinch off a lot more than they could handle. When back in 2001, they were even trying to buy Nintendo.
I want to pull off really quick on that a little bit
Yeah.
more. I bet they could even have made the argument that Nintendo is a different market
Yeah,
because
It's more catered
it's
towards
geared
kids.
towards kids/families, and so like they could have argued that it's not the same market, so it's not a
Yeah.
monopoly.
the Xbox is like for the gamers, the hardcore gamers, and Nintendo's like, oh, it's for everyone. So like it's kind of interesting seeing like that was even entertained. That idea was entertained when Nintendo would say, no, we'll never be for sale. Like, we're not that desperate. Like, Nintendo Switch is like outselling Xbox. Like, why would we ever sell?
The thing with Microsoft too,
Sell.
though, is I feel like everybody forgets that they own Windows. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think Microsoft makes any money from Xbox. I mean, I'm sure they make a little bit, but who knows? Their money is in their software that they make for computers.
Well, here's the thing. It's the Xbox division that buys all these games, not Microsoft themselves. So Depending on how much.
No. They were able to buy Activision because they were owned by Microsoft, not because of Xbox.
It's probably
Xbox and nowhere in their million years would have been able to buy Activision.
Yeah, that's true. Pretty sure they.
It's because of Microsoft.
And
Because of the big.
yeah. That's
big
what I'm
bad.
saying. I think that's what a lot of people forget. Is that Microsoft is a several tens or $100 billion company, whatever it is.
And they were able to do it after the scandals. So there you go.
The Blizzard.
They were in a desperate situation. Microsoft's like, we can get you out of it.
And see, Sony's a pretty dang big company as
Yeah.
well. They're not just PlayStation.
They make all sorts of hardware.
Yeah.
They have one of the biggest like TV markets of all. Nintendo the only one that doesn't do anything else. They're the only odd ones out. That's why they're the cheapest company of the three.
Yeah, they used to make like toys like cards like those.
Yeah, that's what they started out with.
Yeah, but now they just make video games. Yeah, they got merchandise.
They haven't made like
yeah
toys and stuff for 80 years.
Yeah, they have a lot of merchandise, and they also have stake in Pokemon. I mean, they help
third.
Yeah, a
third of the stake of the Pokemon company.
But other than that, Nintendo is like, obviously they don't make as much money because the other two companies are like just a big conglomerate of like general technology.
Here's our numbers. Nintendo, third place, obviously, $56.31 billion. That's a big number, by the way. Sony, $102.54 billion, and Microsoft, $646.55 billion. So Microsoft literally eats both of them.
And how much did they buy Activision for? Wasn't it 70?
It was close
billion?
to 70.
Yeah. But anyways, it's kind of funny how.
So it's more than Nintendo was worth.
Which is crazy. That's insane to me that they paid more for a game company. Well, I guess where I'm baffled is Blizzard doesn't make any hardware or anything. They just make the games.
Yeah.
That's insane. They paid
the reason
that much.
why Microsoft made this move is because literally Activision was in a desperate situation.
But
Nintendo,
how much do you think Activision's actually worth?
Activision Blizzard? Nintendo, they're stubborn. They're like, no, we're not gonna sell. Like, who are you guys? Get out of here.
Yeah, I don't think Nintendo would have cared. They would have been like, I'm not going to sell.
That's
no. It's
crazy,
like we're
dude.
fine on our own. Yeah, we're making less money for you. Eat my ass. That's what they would have said.
They would have dabbed too, right?
Yeah.
Can you
No,
demonstrate?
I'm not gonna dab.
Why
on
not?
camera. You dab.
You got to be like Nintendo for
Scott,
us.
you dab. You like.
Okay, this is a vicarious dab for Thane.
There
Nice
you go, you
dab
did it.
thing.
Thanks. I mean, good job, Thane.
Yeah, but also
I saw him dab today. If you guys were
there are
curious.
also some other emails in there. Actually, one of the statements Phil said in the email, Nintendo.
Phil Spencer put a picture of his weenie in there.
Yeah, that was
Yes,
awesome.
let's
It
go.
was great. It was glorious.
He called it his Philly cheesesteak.
He said like a weird quote, and I don't and like
I have it without any onions.
yeah, and
Want to see your Philly cheese, Phil?
and
Spencer.
even though he wasn't planning on sharing this, the quote he said about Nintendo was, "Their future lies solely in their hardware," and I'm like, yeah, okay. What does that even mean?
That's funny coming from a game company that doesn't make games anymore.
Yeah. Like,
Yikes.
of course it lies in their hardware. That's what sells best. That's what's keeping them in business.
Okay, but I'm going to make the argument that Nintendo's hardware
you-
is like cool, but not that good. It's their games.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
make
Their
bad.
games.
Yeah.
It's their game. That's what I mean. It's their games. Like, yeah, people buy the hardware, but they stay for the software. Like,
Wait, did he argue that they came for like their hardware is what's keeping them in business?
I guess like it's
It's
their
a bad
future,
argument.
I would disagree
relies-
to that.
Yeah, he said their future relies
As
solely
someone
on their
who knows
hardware.
nothing
It's
about
like
the markets.
no, their future relies on their software. They've got Mario. Mario alone is helping hold the company up. Not only holding the company up. They got Zelda. Pikmin did great. Xenoblade
Pikmin did good.
Yeah, I think it did.
I'm
You
surprised.
say
Yeah.
Pikmin or Pokemon?
Pikmin. Oh yeah, Pokemon. They've got ARM in Pokemon. Like Pokemon games sell like
Are we doing what Pikmin? Just like the Pikmin franchise?
Pikmin 4.
Pikmin 4. I'm pretty sure it sold pretty well.
I think
700,000. That's
okay. Look up Splatoon 3 sales now. I think
Splatoon
Splatoon's
3.
bigger.
Oh, Splatoon.
Splatoon's a much
Yeah.
bigger franchise
Yeah.
for them. I'm surprised Pikmin 4 sold that much.
Yeah.
Almost 1 million.
There we go.
Temple-
That's
yeah.
about what I expected. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
Pikmin is kind of a niche
10
one.
million for Splatoon 3 if you're wondering.
People do like Pikmin. I mean, it's not a poor seller. That's why they keep making them. People want Pikmin. But yeah, they got a bunch of these great franchises that keep them afloat, and people are still clamoring for F-Zero. That F-Zero 99, people were like, "Oh, when are we get a real F-Zero game?"
Oh, I kind of want to play F-Zero 99. I forgot to try it out.
Yeah, it's not going to be like Mario 35.
My Call of Duty Black Ops binge has been
I should just leave this.
needs to be
gamer
disrupted by
Yeah.
the F-Zero.
But anyways, yeah, they got all these franchises that they make great games for. Yeah, their hardware is not that
Their hardware
great.
sucks.
Okay, but let's just go down the line from what Nintendo's done. Has their hardware ever been top notch, save when they
Super
first
Nintendo.
started?
The N64 was the last console for them
Yeah.
to be top tier.
Yeah.
Right. So after that, it's been very subpar, right? Well, I guess the
Yeah.
GameCube had a beefcake in it, didn't it, for the time?
For its time,
Yeah.
it did some things better than the PS2, but
That's when it started
Yeah.
to slack though,
yeah,
hardware wise. Like you're not wrong. It was a bit of a beefcake, but the Xbox was the king of them all. It was
Yeah.
Xbox, GameCube, PlayStation 2.
And the Xbox is a freaking computer.
it's funny.
And I
how-
wonder if like the PlayStation 2 sells is what told Nintendo maybe we don't need to have like that like crazy hardware. So they just repackaged all their GameCubes that didn't sell and made a Wii.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think I kind of understand where he's coming from with the hardware. As far as like Nintendo's ability to innovate something in a weird, wacky way that's kind of gimmicky that sells
Yeah.
money.
You know, side note, that means in 20 years Nintendo's only really made 2 consoles.
They just
The GameCube and the Wii U are the only consoles they've made. They've just repurposed the hardware essentially, or the tech.
it is true.
Same with the Switch.
The Switch is the same
Yeah.
tech as the Wii U. It's basically 1 for 1.
Wow.
Yeah, I think
It's just they were able to make it smaller because it was newer.
the Switch 2, whatever it's being called, is going to actually be the first time they actually have to up their graphic.
I think the Switch is slightly better than a Wii U, but
Yeah.
it's pretty dang close.
Yeah. And from rumors of the Switch 2, they said it's going to be less powerful than the PS5.
That's fine.
But honestly, I think if they can run Unreal 5 and make it just good enough to run like
If they make it
PS5
if they
games?
make it better than a PlayStation 4 / Xbox like One X, then I think they're golden.
Yeah.
I really don't think you need much more than that. Cuz like there's not very many games that take that much hard like graphical power. Like you can play Cyberpunk on a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Not great, but
I
you
mean,
can.
Today you can. Back in during launch. Ooh.
That the One X I believe is the one that can play Cyberpunk actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if the PlayStation 4 really
I was
can.
gonna say I
Yeah.
think the Xbox One X is actually a beefcake. I think
Yeah, the One X is a
Xbox One
beefcake.
S might
Is
be
not.
the one you're talking about.
I bet the X. I'd like it. I'd like the new Nintendo console to be on par with the One X. If it could do
Yeah.
that, I think they'd be golden.
Yeah.
I don't know if they could
In
though
fact,
because
I wanted
slim,
to be
small, tiny.
Yeah, I wanted to be try to make it better than that One X, but who knows?
I don't
maybe
think they can. Just
maybe
because
they'll
the
throw a
form
curveball
factor.
and say, "Hey, we made new technology that could."
I guess if they want it to be a portable thing,
Yeah.
I don't think they can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that we have close to that I would say is a Steam Deck, so I think it's
Yeah.
doable.
Oh yeah, it's doable, but that's a pretty beefy console.
The thing about Nintendo is they have so much money they could do it, but they're just kind of doing gimmicks.
I don't
now.
think it's a matter of could do it.
Yeah.
I don't think they can. I don't think the tech is there to have everything be small enough and not overheat and all
Well,
that yet.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what they're cooking. So
I mean, think about your computer. Your
Yeah.
computer is basically on par with a PlayStation 5. Think about how big your PlayStation 5 is. Don't you think
Yeah.
Sony would have made it smaller if they could?
That's true. They could.
So, like-
There's rumors of a Slim, and they got that PlayStation
Sure.
Portal.
There's always
Coming out,
rumors of a
yeah.
Slim, but like,
It'll never be as good as
Yeah.
what you have, though.
It
Yeah,
won't-
it's true.
they can't. Nintendo can't slam that into a tiny box.
Also, the PlayStation 4 Pro is bigger than a PlayStation 4 base. So I don't know what Nintendo has, but we'll see when it comes out.
One thing I've thought of, I guess, real quick, talking about what they could do. I'm not saying this is what they would do, but you just have two parts. Like, instead of just having a dock that connects you to the TV, your dock is the actual system, and then you have the Switch to play handheld. So you still have the same concept, but you still have.
But that's a Nintendo thing to do. That sounds very Nintendo.
Yeah. I would like to kind of see them like try to do the Wii U thing where it's like you got your tablet and you got the TV. I'm pretty sure they can do it. Like, that's probably what one of the features would be, but I don't know until like Nintendo actually pulls something out, which probably like last minute, like just what they did with the Switch, like just a few months before launch.
I think just with my dumb brain, this is how I would make it work. I'd make the Switch essentially just with a beefier system in it.
Yeah.
But then the dock is like you're plugging in a graphics card kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Because you can you could get like external graphics cards for laptops and plug them in and unplug them whenever you feel like it. So if they did something like that, that's how they could make the dock work. I think anyway. That's just my dumb brain. First thing I thought of.
Yeah. So that was Phil's take on trying to buy Nintendo.
I think his take's wrong. I think people buy Nintendo because of the games, not because of the hardware. Although the Wii was different. I think the Wii was just very revolutionary.
If you would have said that 10 years ago, sure. Not anymore. The Switch is cool and all, but like that's not why people are buying them.
Yeah.
Right.
They're buying it because freaking Breath of the Wild was the greatest game ever made.
That's why I was saying the Wii itself. Anyway.
Yeah, you're not wrong about the Wii.
You had grandparents buying Wiis to play. That's how...
Wii Sports, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So it's... But then again, I mean, I don't know. They had to make the games good enough for the hardware, too, at the time.
But the hardware wasn't that good back then. The Wii, like I said, was a GameCube.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess I'm talking about the gimmick. The gimmick is what sold the Wii. Everyone's like, oh, motion controls.
Very true.
I'm actually playing baseball?
Yeah, the gimmicks are what sold the Wii. They couldn't keep the Wii in stock because of the gimmick.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess if Phil's talking about 2007 Nintendo, then that argument would hold up.
Yeah, I agree.
Is that what you were trying to say? Sorry.
Yeah, if that's what Phil was talking about, sure, but the Switch is not
But
that.
he said this in 2020 apparently, so...
I love, and I know us three have had this conversation before, but I love the idea of all the tech that's in the Switch, especially the Joy-Cons. More specifically, just the Joy-Cons. But it never gets used. What are there, 10 games with the IR sensor that actually uses it?
Yeah.
It's not even that cool.
It's mostly Nintendo that does it.
HD Rumble's effing sweet, but then no one ever uses it how they could.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing I can think of that I've actually played is in Pokemon Sword and Shield. When you would Dynamax your Pokemon, make them all big, the Rumble would like react to each of the different like attacks that they would do to the point where I could tell what attack it was based on the Rumble. And I'm like, holy F, why aren't more people doing stuff like this? This is so cool.
I think they have a patent, don't they?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Nintendo's not even using it. They're the ones that effing made it.
They patent some. I've known like they've patented some stuff and nobody uses it on their consoles. It's like, this is so cool.
Well,
why isn't more people using
I have a follow-up
this?
question then. Is that hardware built into Pro controllers or just Joy-Cons?
I believe it's in Pro controllers too, but it's better in Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
I think it's because the Joy-Cons are smaller though, if I had to guess.
So when's the last time you guys have gamed with the Joy-Con?
It's been a long time.
So maybe that's why Nintendo's like, people don't buy, or people that have our Joy-Cons don't use them.
When they were trying to sell the gimmick of the Joy-Con with the, I think it's called 1-2 switch, they did the whole thing where you're like, how many marbles in it, you know? That's from HD Rumble.
Yeah.
Like, they had something really cool. If they would have just... That said, I think we're exceptions. Using a Pro controller, I think most people use Joy-Cons actually.
Yeah.
Really?
They use that gross, like...
To be fair,
my brother played the entirety of Tears of the Kingdom with 2 separate Joy-Cons.
I used my Joy-Cons and the controller thing for my first 3 years of owning a Switch.
Yeah.
I used that for a while, realized how uncomfortable it was, then just bought like one of those cheap PowerA Pro controllers.
I don't think very many people buy these Pro controllers though. I think it's the quote unquote hardcore gamers that do that.
I bought the cheap one. Like I bought the dirt.
But
cheap
even
$30
still,
yeah.
most times people buy those is because they want a second controller. They don't want to buy another Joy-Con.
And I bought the GameCube PowerA one that had all the buttons on it.
Yeah,
because I just wanted a GameCube controller.
I'm a firm believer that once you play with a not Joy-Cons, you'll never go back.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm not saying that either.
Right.
I'm just saying I think people buy a Switch and that's their only controller for the entire lifespan of their console.
I mean, they are expensive. Like,
they're effing
you
expensive.
May as well. You paid $70 for those Joy-Cons. You may as well play with them.
All Joy-Cons are better Wii remotes, and that's cool. But the fact that VR exists, and I know Nintendo's done a few VR things, cardboard, but
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna freaking pull out the Virtual Boy.
Oh yeah, the Virtual Boy too. But yeah, I think like whatever Nintendo's gonna do, people will buy it. Like if it's advertised right, like the Switch, which they probably learned from the Wii U.
Do we think, because Nintendo has had a track record, save for the NES and the SNES, and I guess the N64, they usually release something cool and innovative, and then the next thing's dog water. Then it's cool and innovative, it's dog water.
Yeah.
We just got the Switch, which was the cool and innovative, and make the money. Are we getting dog water? Or are they going to be okay this time?
I think after learning from their mistakes.
Oh, I disagree with that statement. They've not learned from their mistakes in the past. True. I just think that they're just not going to care anymore. I think they're just going to be like, "Wow, we have money now. Let's keep making money."
Do this.
I think they're just literally going to make a successor to the Switch. I don't see them not doing it.
I don't ever see Nintendo going away from the hybrid. I think they will always make the hybrid from here on out.
The fact that the Switch has outsold the Wii, I think that to them was like, okay, we just need to keep doing this. Just keep making Switch.
I hope they do something that's like will impress people, but we'll have to see. I mean, if I was running Nintendo, I'd be like, guys, let's step it up. Come on.
I feel like Nintendo needs to do a better job of helping their developers optimize for the Switch.
Yeah.
Because it's doable. I played Mario Odyssey at 60 frames. I've played 3 Xenoblade Chronicles games on the Switch. I've played Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Just freaking just every time you want a new developer that makes Switch games, just go send them to Monolith for a year.
Yeah.
Just make them watch everything Monolith does, and then they'll be able to make video games. I mean, Monolith is the reason why the Switch is the big Switch games are working. Yeah. Splatoon 3, Zelda. They were both behind that too.
Monolith was Nintendo's best investment.
I'll jerk off Monolith as much as I possibly can. I love that studio, but the fact that the reason why the Switch is even successful, I want to say, is because of Breath of the Wild. Without Monolith, that wouldn't have happened.
I mean, all you have to do is look at the company's track record with what they've produced over the Switch's life.
Also, just for anyone who's confused, we're talking about Monolith Soft, not Monolith Productions, the guys at Warner Brothers who made those Lord of the Rings games.
Oh, we're not?
No, we're not.
I thought we were talking Gollum.
Those games are good.
I thought we were talking about Gollum.
Gollum was not Monolith.
Oh, freak.
Gollum was Daedalic, and now they're dead. Monolith Productions.
It's in the name.
Yeah. Monolith Productions, they did the Fear games.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Fear.
Yeah.
And he's all like, and you bang your ghost mom or something.
Yeah. That's not quite what happens, but we're not.
Isn't that what happens?
You're tiptoeing around what it is. Like, you're in the general ballpark.
That's because I don't want to say what it actually is, because it's really effed up.
Yeah.
And spoilery.
I'm very shocked that they got away with that back then.
I think it's because they did it in such an ambiguous way where you didn't even know what the freak was going on.
Yeah, and then developers confirmed it. Like, yeah, that's what happened.
But also, this is in the early 2000s where it was just a free
late 2000s, actually.
I thought Fear 2 was like 2000.
It's like 2007, 2008.
Okay, Thane, when did
Halo
No
3
Russian come out?
2009.
2009.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's still gaming.
Still gaming.
It fell into that sweet spot of horrible.
But I wanted to go back to Microsoft because there's a few more emails. One, they talked about there was leaks of a new console, like a Series S Slim that's digital only. It's called Project Hudson, and people joking it looks like a trash can.
We got to saw a picture of it.
Yeah, there's a picture apparently.
It's the it's supposed to be the all digital Series X.
Yeah.
Is it like that Mac that
is
Apple
it called
made?
Project Hudson?
It literally looks like an Alexa.
Yeah, it looks like an Alexa. People are joking that it looks like a trash can though.
So it's what's it called? Like I said, it's the
I like that piece.
Apple's Mac.
You have
that
to
they made a
actually
couple
go
years
into.
back.
That's kind of what it is. Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. It looks. Yeah. It's very cylindrical.
It does look like an Alexa.
Yeah. It's basically just a box. I'm pretty sure after this next console generation, it'll be all digital.
Which makes me sad.
I know. It's like. I mean, I do own a lot of my stuff digital.
Don't
but
worry,
like,
Limited Run's gonna get us with just selling us boxes.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're cheap. Though.
Boxes with codes in them.
Hopefully they're like $10 boxes. I buy that. I buy those all day long. So then people come to my house. They're like, "What's this shelf? This is just my wall of boxes."
It's my plastic,
and they don't even open.
It's my wall of plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't open. They just stay closed.
What I'm thinking is that Nintendo, they're probably going to release this next console with physical cartridges, obviously. But then Sony and Microsoft, their next console is just going to be digital.
This is what Nintendo should do. They should make their next Switch. The only thing you can put into it is like SD cards and Switch cartridges, and then all of the new games are digital only.
That they could do that too. Just have a Switch slot. We call it the Switch slot. Just put your Switch games right in there.
And then like they'll give you like this little plug you can put in there, but it'll like most kids will lose it after a couple of years.
Yeah. Oh, it's like a dongle.
The DS.
There we go. Sky got it. The DS. The
I
Game Boy
kept
Advance
mine.
slot.
I kept mine. I still
You
have
did?
it.
Oh yeah, that
But
little
my DS itself's broke, so what does it matter?
Oh, the GB. Yeah, the little GBA slot. It's kind of like those slots they have on little caps they have on what's flash
I use
drives.
that slot so often I ought to replace that slot with a one-on-one spot.
With what I would slot.
slot.
Is the DS Lite very different than the DSi?
Yes. I mean, no, but yes.
Like,
DSi
are the
has a
styluses
camera.
the same size?
No,
They're bigger.
DSi has a camera and like internet.
The
Like,
DSi is a
store.
different software.
Yeah.
It's a different operating system.
They
and
had
everything.
an online store with games on it that all got ported to the 3DS.
I remember one of my cousins got a DSi because it was like that 2000, I want to say like 2009, 2010 era of just, it felt like every year there was a new DS coming out. You had the fatties, the clam fatties, then the DS Lites, and it just kept going. And I remember I saw his DSi at Christmas. I was like, wow, it's got a camera.
Yeah.
Is it better than mine? No, mine's better. It is better than mine.
So
obviously.
it's got that slideshow thing. I remember Jordan. He said, "There's no way anyone would make that way. Like no one would make fluent art, like ones that are really fluent." Years later, some guy is famous off of being the flip note, known as the flip note drawer, like cartoonist, because he only uses like DS flip note to draw his cartoons. So
did you guys get a launch 3DS?
I did.
Yeah, I did.
So my sister has one. Did you guys like the 3DS? Like
it's all right.
the 3D, excuse me.
Oh, like actually 3D?
Yeah.
I would turn it on for cutscenes, and then I wouldn't play them.
Yeah.
It's like I'm playing through like Ocarina of Time. Anytime there's a cutscene, I turn it on.
Yeah.
When the cutscenes were done, boop, off.
Sometimes I'd use it. Sometimes I wouldn't have it right, so I just turn it off. There was one part I thought was really cool in was it Kid Icarus Uprising, where like you're flying through the stage, it's like, well, that's just a wall, and you could tell it's a wall because it's flat compared to everything that pops out. It's like, that's cool.
The 3D is really, really, really cool, but those early models not very cool.
Yeah.
I remember looking at it, and I guess correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the launch 3DS, you had to be like looking perfectly at it. And I learned while I was gaming, I don't look at my screens like a normal human being. So it hurt my eyeballs.
That's why I just did cutscenes. But like the new 3DSs,
it goes with your eyes, right?
Yeah, it has eye tracking, so it'll
freaking
follow
dope,
you.
dude. Why does Nintendo do such cool things, but then they don't do cool things with the cool things that they have?
At first, at launch.
Even still, what was cool about what did they do cool with the 3D? By the time they made it good, they pretty much everyone had given up on the gimmick.
Yeah, that's true.
To be fair,
like to the point, like I don't even think in Pokemon Sun and Moon you can't even turn on 3D.
That's funny.
Well, there's a lot of games actually that say not compatible with 3D, right? Or
even first-party Nintendo games.
Yeah,
really cool idea, but it didn't work at first. And when it did, everyone stopped caring.
To be fair, 3D is one of those fads that I'm glad hasn't really stuck around. Because I don't really like 3D movies or games.
It was like a stepping stone to VR almost.
Yeah, like the fact that like TVs like have done enough to have their pixels differentiate depth and distance good enough. It's like we don't need 3D if your TV just literally like perfectly renders like an image so you know distance and shit like that.
I think that might have something to do with like the way things are filmed.
Yeah.
I'm not doubting the complexities of what a TV can do, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about either.
What I mean is that like you can like with more pixels it's better definition, so you don't really need 3D.
Do you guys remember when they would sell actual TVs that were 3D
with the
TVs
glasses?
With the glasses?
Yep.
As a kid, I was like, man, that sounds like such a good idea. But I remember going to a bunch of 3D movies. I'm like, this super sucks. I hate wearing glasses.
I guess what I was saying is that 3D doesn't make things look better. It just makes them look gimmicky.
It's cool.
Actual pixels on the screen makes things
when you've got good
better.
3D. I think the 3DS was good 3D.
Yeah.
It worked really, really well, and it was really freaking cool.
We just need a good
Well, you don't need anything. Yeah. You can play on a CRT TV and still have fun. You don't really need high definition.
But I want it.
This conversation goes full circle back to why would Nintendo try to do better with their hardware when you don't need it? You just need fun Mario.
Yeah,
it's true.
But like, if you've got good 3D, it can do some really effing cool stuff, in my opinion. But if we're doing that, let's just put all of our efforts into VR, because I think VR is far better than that.
VR is way better. It's not even 3D.
That's another layer of immersion, dude. That's just like, I love the idea of VR. Hate it in practice for myself personally because I get headaches.
I think you'll get to the point where you'll be able to use it. I just think the stuff you've tried has been like the cheaper end stuff, so it's not as good.
Like a roller coaster ride.
Why would you do a roller coaster ride?
I did it, and I'm like, whoa, my body's moving. I was standing up, and then I had to sit down.
Yeah, you should have. You should have. I don't know why that's the first thing people show. Like, let me show you this thing in VR, and it shows you shove them off a cliff or something like that. No, give them a good experience. My first experience with VR was Super Hot.
Yeah. I played Super Hot. Was a ton of fun.
So effing cool.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. I think I lasted like 30 or 40 minutes. I don't think I beat the game.
That's still pretty far, and like that's also just because it's still early on, and like. Give another 10 years, I bet VR is so freaking cool.
Well, and VR is probably one of those things that you can't just jump in and you'll be fine. Maybe you can, but like for me, since I'm an old fogey, like I bet if I built up to it, I could probably game for a while.
Yeah, you don't just go right to the freaking roller coaster, making your body think you're going upside down and you're standing up. No, that doesn't work.
That was my little brother. Although what you just said was freaking hilarious if people have done that. Like, here, play VR. And
they
then
shove them off a
cliff. That'd be hilarious to watch. Yeah, I think technology is really cool, but I guess trying to go back to the leaks and whatnot, I think your games is what sells your. Well, we already know that.
Think of that. The grandma, they put the grandma in the VR, and she like pulls out her gun. Sorry, I cut you.
On the 3D thing, at least we don't have the freaking red and blue glasses anymore. Like where you just only see the color red and blue when you go to Spy Kids 3D.
Did you know if you go cross-eyed enough,
you
can loop it back around and it's like it's 3D. Whoa.
Yeah, but I can't go cross-eyed. Well, I can like kind of like magic eye it, but that's not fun. It's
the thing about 3D though is back in that time period, companies were all in. Like they would film entire movies with special cameras just so they could get 3D. Like The Hobbit was filmed at a wacky frame rate, and they had 2 cameras that they were filming with at all times to get the 3D shot. It's really cool. Effing hate it.
Yeah.
Why do cool things suck sometimes?
I don't know, man.
They're just not that cool. That's what I've come to the conclusion.
Yeah. So yeah, the last thing on the Phil Spencer train. We always keep coming back to it because I got one more thing to say about it. Apart from all the other leaks, I think it was like Phil Spencer said something about how like the physical market is dying, or something like that.
And they probably have the analytics on that of copies digital sold versus physical.
Doesn't help that they made a freaking platform where getting everything digital is the easiest thing to do in the world.
They're almost incentivizing not buying video games, to be honest.
They really are.
Which is not good. It's good for me, but it's not good.
Yeah, Game Pass is one of those weird things where I very like it, but I also am kind of just like, should we be doing? Is this okay? Like, are we helping these developers actually or not?
I literally feel like a thief. I feel like I'm thieving. It's thievery.
There's some game leaks like Oblivion remake, Fallout 3 remake, Ghostwire 2, Dishonored 3, all that stuff. He says AAA game publishers lost their mojo. Like, he has no confidence in AAA game publishing. Like,
so like Activision
or like Sony or like
Ubisoft,
those guys. Yeah.
Did he say anything about Nintendo?
What's the other one? EA.
He said he's gonna buy.
Well, did he say he's lost faith in Nintendo developing?
Yeah. I don't know.
I think it means like outside company.
Yeah.
Publisher. So like EA.
I mean, that's not just him. I think he's just speaking what the people think too.
This could be a very much so one of those, let's leak one of our own things on purpose to drive up some random conversations.
He said, it said that third-party publishers were unable to replace the dominance they established back in the days of video games. So, I mean, they're still dominating.
Well, think about it back 10 years ago. The 2010s, early 2010s.
Well,
what game did you play that was first-party that was, actually really good? Not a lot. Yeah. I mean, that's back when Halo started sucking some donkey dong.
Well, that was Reach, actually. Yeah. So I think it's after that Halo
Reach was 2010.
That's what you said was 2010.
Early 2010s. I guess. Yeah, I said 10 years ago originally, and then I changed it to 2010s as a total.
Oh, just that whole decade.
Yeah, because 10 years ago would have been 2013. But that's back, like I said, that's back when Halo started sucking dong, but Call of Duty was peak.
Call of Duty was peak, but also, in my opinion, was going downhill at that point. Because I feel like it peaked with Black Ops 3 and kind of went downhill after that.
Sure, but that wasn't until 2015. Black Ops 3 was 2015.
So, yeah, I guess...
The early 2010s were dominated by third-party AAA publishing.
He said AAA publishers were slow to react to the disruption of digital storefronts like Steam and the shops built on Xbox and PlayStation.
Sure, I agree with that. They're finally onto it now, but for a little bit they're like, we'll make our own. We'll make our own. We'll make our own. So everybody made their own freaking thing, and then it just became a mess.
It's just like with streaming. Freaking now, everybody's got their own streaming service.
Yeah, he's kind of right on that one. I mean... Yeah, you got all these launchers that not only are most of them failing, but they said, well, just better throw it up on Steam. Ubisoft eventually did. They just started throwing all their games on Steam recently. And also said if you don't log back into Ubisoft, all your games you had would be deleted. So pretty much they just robbed from you in a weird
That's not how that works. They did not
rob.
They're not taking. They're just... They said, all right, the license you bought is up. That's completely legal and fine. It's up to you if you care enough to go log in and do something about it.
Yeah. Kind of sucks for the people confused.
It's just like they're trying to do spring cleaning essentially, and all their old accounts that don't log in anymore, they're just like, all right, we're going to delete their accounts so they don't get their games anymore.
But you can get those games on Steam or what?
You can buy them on Steam, yeah.
No, I'm saying if you got them on the Play Store.
No.
That's why they say log in on the Uplay Store.
To do what?
To
save
make
your
sure,
games?
yeah, save your games.
Basically.
Oh, well, yeah, you paid for them there. Why not log in?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not their fault that you don't play their games anymore
Yeah.
and are sad that all of a sudden 10 years later you decide you
Well,
want to play
wait,
Assassin's
it
Creed
is-
2 on the PC.
It is their fault that you don't play their games anymore. But it's not their fault.
But then-
It's not their fault that they got rid of their games on your account or deleted your account because you don't play.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. I'm up to speed now.
It sucks for the people who like still wanted to go back. It's like,
Nah, bro, that's their fault. They didn't go back
Yeah.
in time. That is not on Ubisoft, in my opinion.
I mean, what it says, it sucks that people are like, oh, maybe we should go back and play this, and then you hear the memo and all their games are gone. That would suck for them.
Well, they should have read the memo earlier.
Well, it's not.
That's how it happens.
I
guess
feel like
The
they
games
had
are still
mail.
there. If they log into
Yeah.
their account, their games will still be there.
Yeah.
But like, if they didn't log in within the certain window,
Yeah.
I believe, is that correct? Then their games are
Yeah.
going away.
Yeah.
As long as they log in, as long as they care enough to log in, they're fine.
And I'm sure Ubisoft has sent 10 emails, 20 emails
Probably.
prepping them.
Yeah.
Because, like, Mojang did it for me. They're like, hey, you need to change your Mojang account over. You're going to lose your version of Minecraft that you paid for. And I didn't do it. And they're like, well, sorry, you lost it. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
Because I didn't care enough. It goes to Skylar's conversation on that video he did of at some point these digital storefronts are going to go down and all these purchases we made are just going to be gone.
Yeah.
And
That's how it works.
That is why, right there, why I love buying physical games. But I don't know if it matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because what happens when you delete that physical game that got an update? Well, I feel like the update's probably always going to be there in the cloud somewhere, right? If you buy Pokemon Diamond in 2030 and you pop it into your Switch, connect it to the internet,
Unless the Switch store's down.
so the store has to be up.
I believe so.
So, like,
I don't think you could put in a
Like a
Wii U game right now and get an
get
update
an
on
update.
it.
No,
I don't
I
think you
think
could.
you're effed if that game is broken on launch.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it doesn't matter then. Does it really
Yeah.
matter? No.
I mean,
still
they,
makes me sad.
They have updates on physical cartridges now.
Yeah.
If you go buy like Pokemon Diamond and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl,
Like
I'm pretty sure they have the latest update on the cartridges.
like the Cyberpunk, I think they said they're releasing a Game of the Year edition, which like I don't know why they're calling it that. Let's be honest, but
That's what I'm going to buy.
I'm pretty sure all the updates that the 2.0 is going to be on that disc.
On the
So,
disc.
They should
yeah,
just
so it's
do
gonna
a
be-
do a relaunch, do a soft
Yeah.
relaunch.
They pretty much
Kinda
did
what
with the
this is.
2.0.
Right,
the
you're
2.0 was the
Yeah.
the relaunch almost.
So yeah, that's probably also why they're doing another physical version, because like, hey, this one's the perfect one.
I don't know. I don't understand the argument of, man, I want to go back and play
Yeah.
my game of Crapland 3 on the PlayStation 3. It's unfortunate that I have that digital copy I can't play anymore. No, you don't want to play that game of Crapland 3. It's crap. That's why it's called Crapland
Yeah.
3.
Let's go. This guy gets it.
It's I don't know, like
I mean,
so it's
hey,
whatever.
there's-
They're gone. Who
yeah.
cares? So what if you paid for it? You lost it because you didn't download
at
it.
the end of the day, with old games, they're very accessible.
There's ways.
There
Yeah.
are ways. If you want to play a game real bad, you'll find a way. I know a guy that has played through Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 recently. He found a way.
Hey! I heard that
Hey,
guy
what-
owns Black Ops 3.
He's a gamer.
And he owns the other two games on the Xbox. So
He's a gamer.
Also, in other news, also Microsoft also had data leak about their VR stuff. Azure, I think it's called.
Azure Lane,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that a gotcha game?
Yeah. No, it's like called Xbox Azure, and I think it's their VR. Something about going to VR. Also, apparently, I think they're closing down the Xbox 360 store. So,
I think it's already
Rip.
closed.
oh, we'll rip to those 200 games plus games that didn't make it.
to the like.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, they were garbage.
Yeah, they were most of them probably garbage.
Sorry to the people that made them, but your games
Yeah.
are probably garbage. I know a guy
All
that
the
made
indie-
them. They were garbage.
All the indie games that were on there. Hey, some of them-
Doritos Crash Course? No.
Hey, some of them did get ported to PC. Some people were smart enough to take that game and port it to like on Steam. Like there
That's
was
what
a
I'm
game,
saying.
Yeah.
The games that were actually good. It's the same. Was
Yeah.
it last time we did the podcast where I was like, Bro, of course, it's the games that are good that people know. No, it was just a conversation we were having in our car. I'm like, everybody knows about the games that were good, even if, like, they're underground. Like, people know if they were good or not. They would have let other people know. It's just like this. If we wanted to, like, save these games from go away forever, becoming, like, what is it called, lost media, well, then we wouldn't have if they were good. We would have kept them if they were good, but we didn't because they were bad.
I mean, some of the
that's two dabs in one show.
There's got to be one thing that was good, but someone just didn't bother to keep.
No, there's no way.
There's got to be one.
If there was a good game, they would have kept it.
I disagree.
I know how people are.
There's way too many games.
There's a man who bought every single 3DS and Wii U game just to have them. I promise you that even the bad games were saved. Even the bad games were saved somewhere.
That's just one console.
Yeah. People are idiots. They'll be like, wow, I won't tell anyone about this game.
No, they would not do that. People, when they have something that no one else has, they freaking get all, they get all jittery, like, oh, freak, I got a good thing. I can't wait. And like they want to keep it to themselves because they make them feel overpowered. Like it's like a power trip for them. Yeah. But then it freaking like, this power trip doesn't work if I keep it to myself. I got to tell everybody about the thing. Then I'll be the number one because I was the.
Yeah, they want to be the guy.
They want to be the guy.
They want to be the. I found it before you did. Because I'm a hipster.
Exactly. So if there's anything good from these games that are becoming lost media, we would have already kept them. We would have already saved them somehow, some way.
I'm still in the camp that there are games out there that were bangers and there not that many people knew about them because I just think there's too many video games that have made over the years.
Yeah, it's sad. Like. The problem with like there's too much things to keep track of.
I'm just hugely in the camp of if they were good enough, people would have gotten big enough.
Yeah.
It's like, not just only a handful of people thought they were good and so that they were good and they kept it or whatever. Yeah. Enough if it was good enough, they would have gotten out. If Halo was made by an indie company right now never mind. Not right now because it's not great.
Halo's great.
If Halo was made by an indie company in 2001, nobody knew about Halo, and then like if they released it, like the no marketing, no anything, just released one day, it still would have gotten popular. Maybe not as popular. I will concede that. But you would have known about it. It would have shown up on Metal Jesus Rocks' Hidden Gem video. Yeah. See, I promise you there will be people that know about the games if they're good. If they're bad, no one gives a crap about them.
I agree with you. But I'm also in the camp of I still think that there are bangers out there that nobody knew about.
I think at that point they're subjective bangers. They're not objective bangers.
I mean, they're all, I think all of it's subjective bangers.
Is Halo a subjective banger? I would say that's an objective banger.
If we're basing it off of sales and popularity, sure.
Yeah, that's what I think we're doing. I think
how many people don't like it.
You know that a million people can't be wrong kind of thing? Like with Halo?
Huh?
A million people can't be wrong?
I don't get it. I don't get the analogy.
I think what we're arguing now is just semantics. Like, I think that what Cole is saying is a very based argument.
I mean, like, if something's
based. Skyler said it.
Here's the thing. That's the thing. If something's popular and people like it, that's why I say a million people can't be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. There it is.
How do you not get that?
I don't know. I thought you were trying to make a reference to something. I never heard a million people can't be wrong.
Sometimes you got to just spoon feed us, okay? Jeez.
Yeah, it's like, I'm dumb brain.
Yeah. It's on that movie The Lost Boys where he's like, giving him right. He's like,
so it is from something.
Yeah, well, no,
I've never seen this movie.
No, he's like gives him rice. He says a million Chinese people can't be wrong.
So it is from something. You can't expect me to know this.
I've heard that quote.
Yeah,
I've never heard it.
Yes,
if I have, I didn't.
That quote is
That's
a popular quote. It's like,
I'm sorry, I didn't know it then. Don't get mad at me.
A lot of people try this. All these people can't be wrong.
Don't get mad at me for not knowing the quote.
And the best part of that is eating it. It's like you're eating maggots, Jim. It's like
And to be fair, I do agree with what Cole is saying. But like I said, there's so many video games that have been made over so many years. There's bound to have been a few that have slipped through the cracks.
I have a hard time believing that. I really do. With how many people are out there doing crap like what they do online, I have a hard time believing there hasn't been one that was slipped through the cracks.
I understand. I still think it applies to all media. It applies to music, movies, and video games. I think there's bangers out there that people didn't know about.
I mean, now that I think about it, people do love archiving stuff, and I think the things that people like, oh, it's just so good that and nobody really caught it. That's more like urban legends at that point.
If something is so good that no one caught it, it's because it wasn't so good.
What if it was good, it just didn't get marketed well?
Then people would have known about it because people still find things. Especially nowadays, most marketing comes from other people, not from their own marketing. Sure, they market stuff here and there and pay for marketing, but like the reason why think of Among Us. The reason Among Us got popular is because people started playing it because it spread like wildfire.
Now that I think about it, there's this 7-volume Capcom series for the Dreamcast, like called El Dorado something, I can't remember. And I wouldn't have seen it if someone didn't have it on an emulation site. So I think I kind of understand where Cole's from. And if there is one, it's probably like
we're at the point that we're even saving the bad games.
Yeah.
We saved the bad games.
That's how I downloaded all
That's how I know that we have all the good games.
That's how I downloaded all the TAC games for a video.
I guess where I'm coming from is I'm trying to think about and I guess this just comes from me browsing all these launcher stores that I have.
Yeah.
And I see
there's millions of games.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
But there's billions of people.
We don't save, and not all of them are gamers.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. There's enough gamers to know. How many games have you played in your life? Probably 100? Is it safe to say 100?
Probably more.
Say more, right? Let's say there's 1 million gamers. That's a really low number.
So here's the thing.
We know there's more than that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Here's the thing. Now that I put it together, back before the internet, like back in like 70s, 80s, 90s.
No, 90s, no. 90s still had forums and stuff. Yeah. People are crazy in the 90s too.
See, I just don't know. 90s, I don't know how popular. I don't know how popular those forums were.
Just before the internet.
You just don't know.
I know that's what I'm saying.
They definitely were. Not obviously they're not like millions and millions of people, but the people on the forums back in the late 90s and the early 2000s, they were rabid.
Yeah.
Think of like Reddit. But that's what it was. That's what Reddit was.
Just lived on forums.
When Teen Titans was first revealed, they said it looks so lame. A lot of people said that. Teen Titans is considered a classic now. I don't know.
These forums are crazy back then.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take your word for it. I guess all I'd have to do is just look up popularity. That doesn't even matter. What I'm trying to argue is that there are so many bits of media that are created every single day. There's bound to be ones that fall through the crack. That are bangers.
In my opinion, they just weren't good enough to get out of the crack.
I think I'm on Cole's side. Back in the 70s and 80s, when people didn't
see, the argument with that is that there was even less things being made then.
Yeah.
So it's even harder for those to
back
when
there wasn't a solid way for people people to archive things. Like that was like it was harder to like keep track of everything. But now with the internet, with a large database of things that people can just make a video about, make a forum post about, they're easier to archive.
That's the argument, though. In the old games, there wasn't that many.
Yeah.
So they were just as easy to not be slipped. Not all the bangers didn't slip through the cracks back then either, because there was even less. Think about it. Like let's say there's 1,000 indie games to come out today. Okay.
Yeah.
In 1980, maybe 3. So you would have known. You would have known if they're bangers or not. It doesn't matter what age it was. Throughout all time, let's just say specifically video games. Throughout all time, specifically video games, I don't think we've lost a banger to the cracks. I don't think a banger has slipped away from us because somebody didn't catch it or something. I really don't think that's the case.
Yeah. I'm thinking too, like,
because in the old days there was a lot less.
People talk about things and they're going to share it.
I'm not saying they don't. Like I said, all I'm arguing is the quantity that gets produced.
Okay,
There's bound to be some that slip through the cracks.
I have one question for you. What are we defining as a banger? Are we talking about just a good video game or like a whoa? You need to play this before you die.
I think greatest games of all time will not slip through the cracks. Like, if there's a greatest game of all time
we would know.
It well, and people still know about it.
I don't think I'm talking about those.
You're talking about games. Just good video games?
Sure. Just like, wow, that was a banger. That was a fun video game.
I don't think they slipped through the cracks because there's still a handful of people that played them because they were still good video games, but because they weren't one of the greatest of all time quality level games, they didn't become massive, you know?
And people probably didn't get
But these good games that weren't super great, people still played them. There's still a group of people that thought they were good, and someday they'll show up on a Metal Jesus Rocks top 10 classic gems from the Game Boy Advanced.
So you don't think that there's any games that had the potential to be like a greatest of all time that has slipped through the cracks?
I don't. I really don't.
Even
because if they were Ocarina of Time level quality, if they were Red Dead Redemption level quality, if they were these style of quality of games, we would have known about them because somebody would have found it and it would have gotten bigger and started spreading more and more and more. The reason why these other games that weren't that level didn't spread as much is because they weren't that level. They were just great. They were just good. They weren't phenomenal, you know?
Yeah.
Even let's say this is kind of obscure game. Rusty's baseball game for the 3DS. They had this obscure character that no one would see because, like, in order to see him, you have to buy like the mini games at full price or the items at full price. And Nick Robinson, he did that and saw this character nobody saw. And when he talked about it, everyone, like, people saw that video, knew about him. Like, people are gonna find things.
Yeah, even
sure. Yeah. And you guys are probably right. You're probably right. Like, even if there is some bangers that
people find things
cracks,
now more in the
if they are bangers, they probably will get fished out.
Yeah,
we'll find all the bangers. We'll get all of the greatest. Yeah. We'll get all the goats. All of the goats will be found.
So you're admitting that they're lost. That's all I needed to hear, baby.
No, I'm not. Oh, my words have been construed.
Even amazing games like Okami, my favorite game of all time, Okami, it sold like ass on PS2.
But people still bought it.
I rented it and I bought it on the Wii, and people propped it up enough where it sold like over 1 million copies on the HD re-releases.
And I guess in my head I need to differentiate between, because what I'm thinking of is like trying to compare video games to music and movies. Obviously, there's far more songs and bands and movies that have been made.
That's why I made the distinction after a little bit about just video games.
Right. And with that, that's more understandable.
Even movies, I feel like we would know about all of the bangers. Yeah. Songs, I can give you songs. Songs is one of those things that people are just making in their backyard right now.
Yeah.
And we might not see all of those. Movies, though, I think we'll know of all the banger movies. I think we'll know all of the banger video games, all of the banger TV shows. Not all of the banger books. There's no way. There's no way we'll know all of the banger books.
Books are kind of harder because they're words, and I don't like words on paper. Did you know that there was a...
It's just the fact that anybody can make a book.
Well, anybody can make a movie. Like, there could be some indie films out there that are bangers, but we would never know about.
I don't know, because I think that's a more niche thing. It's crazy to think, and that sounds stupid, but movies are more niche than books. I would say music is less niche than movies. Movies are more niche than music. Music and books are probably the top king of the crop when it comes to media.
I'd agree with that.
There's more of those than anything else. And so that's why I think we might not see all of those bangers, but when it comes to movies, I think we probably will. Yeah. That's probably next, though. That's probably next to be into the level of obscurity. But now, because of the age that we're in, I don't think that's a problem anymore.
All right, shut up for a second. Did you know? Sorry. Did you know?
How does it feel?
Shut the fuck up for a second. All right.
It's crazy that there's so many video. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Did you know that there was a Japanese movie with Johnny Cash in it? It's very obscure.
See, I didn't, but you did.
Someone made a video about it.
I rest my case.
Someone made a video about it. See, with the power of YouTube and forums, people make videos on obscure things all the time. So there you go. That things are better archived now today, and I highly doubt anything will be obscure unless they were like so bad nobody bothered.
We're not losing the goats, guy. The goats will not be lost.
People clamor for goats a lot. Like, geez, where are they gonna re-release this RPG that I played? Where is it? Where's Jet Set Radio Future on Steam?
People like, sorry, it wasn't a goat.
Where's Mother?
It was mid. It was just like Jujutsu Kaisen.
It was a moat.
You bastard.
Mid of all time.
I'm just kidding. I never watched that show.
Hey,
you like to watch
listen,
1 to 2 episodes.
You guys are probably right. I guess my dumb brain just finds it hard to believe.
It's okay. We'll get you there.
If you find one, we'll be flabbergasted. We'll be
Here's
floored.
the thing, though.
If he finds one, then we're right still. It doesn't matter if he finds one. We're not going to be flabbergasted because we'll be right still.
It's kind of a lose-lose because I could say something and then you guys would be like, oh, but you
just found it.
It's no longer gone. You found it.
You found the goat.
But you can have the satisfaction that you found it.
No, I don't even care about that. I just like good things that are good. But you guys are probably right. If there's something that's underrated that's out there, somebody knows about it, and they're gonna start talking about it on YouTube.
Yep. It's lost till it's found. So
you write a
most
song.
Things
that
have
sounds like a song.
Things have been found
until it's found. And I found
cryptids
you lying on the floor.
Cryptids, ancient treasures. If they exist, they probably can be found one day. Even the remains, like bones last forever. That's true.
And so will this podcast. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah. Keep it rad.
Keep it rad.
Well, this is the end, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else to say?
Was there no more Phil Spencer loving?
That's my philosophical quote. Things that
are
lost, things that are lost on this earth will eventually be found.
As long as they're goats. As long as they're bangers.
Yeah, keep it rad.
And in Cole's words, if they weren't found, then they just weren't that good.
Then they were sucky. They were bad.
Bye.
Poggers.